I am so sorry, everyone. I thought I was ready to start stream and then suddenly realized I need to use the bathroom. So, I'll be right back. Okay, that was terrible. No. No, you are not barking. I'm a professional streamer. I know what I'm doing. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be having a probably very short stream. Let's get rid of that. As I only have one page actually lined and ready to go. The others I had to postpone because some things show up and I don't have proper rep sheets for it and it was driving me crazy. So, I'll be working as slow as possible. And this page might get a whole lot of extra details. So, we're gonna start, since there's like, the entire clan is basically on this page, so we're going to, divvy it up. This actually might naturally take me 3 hours to do, because if history has shown us anything, today is the last day of March. January, February, yeah, March. It's gonna be April. I am not ready for spring to officially be here. Mostly because, Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. There was a spider in my bathroom. First one of the year. It nearly descended onto my head. Always when I'm trying to get ready to have a shower. Always when I'm trying to get in the shower. Never Never when I'm cleaning, or never when I'm, like, dusting or vacuuming, so, like, I have a weapon on me. Never when I'm, always when I'm unarmed and vulnerable. It's as if they know. And I don't know where the damn thing went. So, it's still alive in the house somewhere. Which is gonna be awesome! How am I gonna do this bit? Like, it's just gonna be here. Hang on, that's gonna definitely be something we figure out. So, like, here definitely, but... like, how far up am I bringing this? And... completely unnecessary step, but I find it takes the most time for me to do. Whenever I'm doing the flats, or just like the base, I need to go in and erase all that, them extra pixels that are gonna bug me if I don't fix them. But since they're cats and fluffy, they all have little extra pixels. Ode to Joy. Actually, I think I'm gonna put him on the bottom. And... like, no, since I'm gonna put... Snow Blaze, I almost called her Snowfur, that's not her name. Snow Blaze on the same layer as Ivy Whisper, and possibly Twig, with these two on their own layer, and maybe him. Layer management is definitely just a digital artist skill that not a lot of artists ever learn to manage. Even some digital artists don't manage it. I see them. I see you, Twisted Disaster, and... well, I don't know about Holly Brown's layer management, but I see you, Twisted Disaster, Michi, with your layers, pissing me off. And then they'll hiss at me. Excuse me. Oh, guys, sorry for not streaming Thursday. That is my bad. And I can explain. I didn't really have anything ready to live stream, and I mean, and the thing I was working on, I think I was in like a Transformers mode. I honestly don't know what I did Thursday. But I know later that evening I did a lot of Transformers. Hey, let me check. Did I even write anything down? Yeah, no, I had a whole thing that I was gonna do, but then I started sketching it, like, to prep for that stream, and the sketches weren't coming out right on Wednesday, and I was just, you know what? I hate everything, so I'm just not gonna do that. I did a bunch of, extracurricular, like organizing files and getting other things ready, so it wasn't a total loss. You know what? I'm gonna put hazel paw on this layer. And then put brindlefur and twig on the same layer. And maybe put lion stripe on short tails layer. Okay. Oh my god. I have not been looking forward to this Tuesday. Because tomorrow is the worst day of the year. And I'll say that with my full chest. Worse than Christmas, everybody. Worse than Christmas. Worse than Valentine's Day. Worse than Election Day. Worse than, what's another bad one? Well, I don't really have a problem with Easter, but you know, like, worse than Easter. The worst day of the year is tomorrow, and I am going to spend it offline editing this week's video, and I will not be conversing with anybody. I will not be watching anybody's videos. I will not be responding to any texts. I will not exist tomorrow. Because it is the worst day of the year, and I fucking hate April 1st. First F-bomb of the stream, guys. Oh my god, I hate April 1st. It is the worst thing ever, and I've always hated it. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with my supposed autism. I hate everything about it. Happy New Year's tomorrow, because that's what it should have been. Anyway. Hello, Waffles. As soon as I could, you know, when I come into power, and I become supreme ruler of the universe, that's the first thing I'm getting rid of. I say that a lot about some things, but I genuinely mean it with that one. I am making it a federal crime to even mention. I have no. You have no, 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 no. I'll light a candle for you tomorrow. I'm serious, I will. I'll light a candle for you. Because that is just... I don't wish this holiday on anybody. It's not even a holiday, it's the worst day of the year. It sucks. No one likes it. The people that do like it are assholes. I'll say that 100%. If you like April 1st, you're an asshole. And no one actually likes you. They barely tolerate your presence out of pity. Because otherwise you would have no friends. Yes, I'm being venomous and mean, but it's my stream, and I have a right to do that. I don't want your kind around my community. This is a safe space for autistic people. At least for tomorrow's video, it's probably not going to take me that long to edit, because I already did the, no, I have to edit the voice lines, but I don't think I messed up too much on my lines, but I did record it already, so at least that part's done. Just need to edit the voice lines, put the video together. I'm not sure what I'm going to use for background footage, but I do have all my reference photos for this week's video. So it will be coming out. Next week, it's going to be put to a vote on what I do. I have an idea. But if people actually want this thing, which will become apparent in the second video, then I'll do that. It shouldn't take me too long to put together. Like, an evening at most. Anyway. But that's tomorrow me's problem. Today me is hunting pixels. Where are these pixels from? Oh, they're from the... Oh. So some good news to offset the horrors of tomorrow. It's raining in my area. It's not raining right now, but it was raining this morning and it was very beautiful. And we love the rain here because it hardly ever rains. And when it usually does rain, it's for like a minute. Never a good hard pour. Hardly ever a good hard pour. I'm in the weird transitional phase of winter to spring still. Where like all winter I had hardly any yard chores, but now it's like, oh yeah, right, those. We gotta get our garden up and running. We gotta do all this and that and blah da blah da blah. You know, gardening, once you're established, it's actually very fun and relaxing and chill and whatnot. But when you're starting a garden, holy crap, is it stressful. Because you gotta plot everything, you gotta make sure it's all in the right area, you gotta... You gotta make sure the soil's nice and prepped, you gotta... You gotta... Okay, it's the same. How long before we actually have to bring out the hoses? I think that next month we're actually gonna have to bring out the hoses. And start back up our watering regiment. Right now it's still pretty wet and damp, so whoops, we don't have to do that quite yet. But it's just, oh, okay, yeah, transitional period, so it's gonna piss me off. It's change, it's frustrating. I have to do actual work now. You got a rotary phone. That's so cool. I was looking all over some antique shops for a functioning rotary phone. All I could find were imitation rotary phones. You know, where they had the dial and everything, but it was just buttons. It only looked like a rotary phone. And in antique stores, so are rotaries ultra antique to where the imitations are considered the antiques, while the original is, like, unheard of? I wasn't actually looking to shop. I was just browsing, and oh my. It was more than a little depressing. Now, I know, alright, before anyone brings it up, I know he's a cat, so he technically wouldn't have these lines on his face, but it's a close-up, and he's showing his age. And I decided to add it because funny. Yes, I parked in the middle of the road because it's funny to me. That's right. I need to sit up straight, man. No wonder why I was... because of the way my desk is set up, it doesn't really encourage good posture. But it's the best way I can work on my art the most efficiently. Oh, excuse me. It also means I'm sitting like way back from my desk since I got a little pull-out thing. You probably can't even hear it. Ah! Stop it! €25 working CRT television. Oh my god. Waffles, if I go, it's, you know, it's never gonna happen, but if someone walks into your house, it's gonna look like a snapshot from the 90s. Are you just collecting a bunch of 90s tech? I don't have an old CRT television, but we do have an old TV, box. We still have an old box TV that works. So I'm technically working from a 98 monitor, not the actual Windows 98. Mine's not hooked up to the internet. Still mostly works. The mouse port doesn't work, so that's really sad. He's like, yeah, use it anymore. When you walk into my room, the first thing you see is the phone, a stack of cassettes, and a 98. Now all you need are a few movie posters from the 90s, and what band was popular in the 90s? Man, the 90s was so long ago. Despite being born in the 90s, I don't remember half of what was going on. Mostly due to my upbringing, but also because, holy crap, the 90s was a time. I remember the early 2000s more. That I was actually present for. I was actually present for the early 2000s. Now my bedroom currently looks like a cave. It's just dark, blackout curtains, a bed, and a dresser for my shoes. That's it. Because my bedroom is where I sleep. My office, on the other hand. I'm not sure how I want my exact my dream office to look, because the vibe is like dark academia, like Victorian, but I'm also very, you know, tech punky, and you know, I like space and Transformers and rock music and dubstep and synthwave. But I also really like Lord of the Rings, so it's like, how do you mash that together? I just want my office to be things I like and inspire me, so I have several posters up. And plushies, and all my notebooks. Gotta have so many leftover sketchbooks. I'm genuinely considering doing an old... Excuse me. Sabayant! Genuinely considering doing an old sketchbook tour, but... most of my old sketchbooks were not filled out in the way you would say an aesthetic sketchbook would be. It's just random drawings about things, and most of it is just cringe that I'm not sure I want on the internet. Nothing bad, it's just, you know, typical 10-year-old drawings, and I'm just, oh no, I am not bringing that to the internet. No, that's staying in the past. That's for me and my future partner to only look through and cringe about. We'll share our sketchbooks together. That's the dark side of me. Y'all can know anything else about me, except that. Like, ask me literally anything else, but not what I was drawing in my sketchbooks when I was 10. Don't ask to see my old sketchbooks. I will kill you. Thankfully, his tail, I couldn't fit it in this, Wait, what? Oh, I moved it, that's why. What was was really popular in the Oh, Green Day was really popular. Especially American Idiot. Oh my god, that song was so popular. I still like it. I don't care what anybody says. I still like that song. It slaps. Don't wanna be an American Idiot. Don't want a nation controlled by the media. And can you hear the sounds of the stereo? The subliminal mindfuck America. Welcome to a new kind of nation. All across the area nation, everything is meant to be okay. The television dreams of tomorrow, we're not the ones we're meant to follow. I don't know. Printer pick. Yep. I ended up with a trash can over time, so that's sad. Or well, I don't. See, now my mom. I don't want to say we're hoarders, but I still have a lot of stuff that I drew when I was a kid. My mom has a whole folder. She would put it in a folder for me. If I ever wanted to throw it away, she'll go through it. She'll put it in a folder. Like, to time capsule my old art. And I still have a lot myself in my own private collection. But of my old stuff, I think my mom has the most. Except the one. There's this one piece I drew when I was like 2 that we, for the life of us, cannot find anywhere. And it's really sad because it was actually really funny. Don't know where it goes, but it's only me and I walk alone. I'm walking down the line that divides me somewhere in my mind, on the borderline of the edge and where I walk alone. Oh man, I miss... You know, I'd say I miss Green Day, but I still listen to them, so it's not like I miss them. I just miss that era. In memory only, because if I actually was forced to relive that era, especially of my life, I would be so miserable. Because holy crap, the early 2000s were fond memories, but not fun to live in. Most of the kids, like, back then, kids had no rights. Oi! Excuse. That's on the wrong layer, but I don't care. I'm not a part of the redneck agenda. And I wanna do the propaganda and sing along with the age of paranoia. New kind of tension all across the area nation. That's the words. It's been a while since I've actually listened to that song instead of just remembering it. I remember in school, in like the gym, we'd listen to a bunch of pop music. Because that's just, we would listen to just like the nation's top 30, and it was usually all pop or country, and then again, we also lived in the country, so that was all there was. So I hate country. And also, I hate modern pop, but like early 2000s, it's pure nostalgia for me, because then I remember it's burned into my memory because it would be playing over the loudspeaker while in the gym, while we were doing PE and exercising, so the trauma has burned it into my memory. So I unironically know most of the words to a lot of old Rihanna and Katy Perry and Nicki Minaj songs, even though I fucking hate Nicki Minaj. Nothing personal against her, I just hate her music. I hate her music, I hate Kanye West, but that's for dude, that's due to conviction. I hate Kanye West. But he was just everywhere back in the day. Also, what was really popular, I don't mind saying this, like, I used to be a huge 30 Seconds to Mars fan. And 30 Seconds to Mars is like this, I guess they were a rock band. My favorite song from then is Hurricane. I love that song so much. It's still really good and I listen to it, but it's really hard for me to listen to it now because of Jared Leto. It's like, shit, well, different times, didn't know, genuinely did not know. So it's like, do I throw out the song because I hate the artist? Not really, no. I personally don't believe you should stop listening to good music if the artist has an issue. Now, don't support them by all means, but like I listen to a lot of Pink Floyd, even though the bassist is anti-Semitic. I can still enjoy at least a few of their songs, anyway. When it comes to Pink Floyd, I only actually enjoy their Dark Side of the Moon album. That's the only one of their albums I actually like. Wish You Were Here's okay, but I just prefer the... how do I even describe 30 Seconds to Mars? Not 30 Seconds. Dark Side of the Moon. I don't know. Space. Space rock. That part touches, that part doesn't. There, okay, yep, here. We put that there. And we're gonna put this here. What album was Comfortably Numb on? What Pink Floyd album was that? Was that The Wall or Wish You Were Here? I think that was Wish You Were Here. I could be wrong. I only listen to the one album. That's the only one I actually enjoy. But Comfortably Numb, I used to like that song a lot. is no pain you are receiving. A distant ship smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. I have become comfortably numb. Peak. But still, not my favorite Pink Floyd song, believe it or not. I think my favorite Pink Floyd song, it's gotta be a tie, and this is a very strict tie between Brain Damage and Great Gig in the Sky. And of course, I enjoy the other songs. I enjoy Welcome to the Machine. I enjoy Another Brick in the Wall. I enjoy Money. I enjoy that song. Is very good. Now, I do consider Brain Damage and Eclipse one song, even though they're technically two songs, but you always gotta play them together. So I kind of merged them into one song. So yeah, my Brain Damage or Great Gig in the Sky. Both are really good. Wish You Were Here is really good, but I mean, that's just a... Who can deny? That's just a genuinely good song. The main problem with the song Great Gig in the Sky is that it is so hard to sing along to. Because it's a lot of instrumentals, and the main vocalist is just doing ha 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 ha, and it is heavenly. I ascend every time I hear that song, but oh my god, it's impossible to just like sing along when you have it stuck in your head. It's just how people will interpret it says it's pretty bad. Yeah, that's one fun part of uploading. Oh, stop slouching! Sit up straight! They should bring back corsets, I don't care. It's good for the posture. And anyone who says corsets are uncomfortable or painful are either stupid and don't know what they're talking about because they've never actually worn a corset, or have had a bad experience with corsets because they laced it up wrong. Other way. Great, now I got it stuck in my head. Damn, alright. Well, if I'm randomly quiet, it's because I got Great Gate in the Sky by Pink Floyd going through my head. And I can't sing along to it. Because I'm not a professional vocalist. But that song is a trip. If you finally get around to listening to it, whoo! I highly suggest either you listen to it with headphones on, or laying on the floor staring up at the ceiling. Oh my god, I just had unlocked a core memory. Just thinking about Waffles, your room setup and all the old tech and nostalgia and whatnot, that just reminded me of that old, and by this point, yeah, now very old, edit of that song, The Golden Age of Television. I remember listening to that song all the time. And it's one of those songs where it's like, oh my, it is so baffling how they did that, because what they did, they took this tune that was very catchy, and I can't remember what the exact tune is, but they made a song, air quotes, just using movie clips with, like, it was like a medley, not a mashup, it was a medley of all these old movies and like these classic films. It's just, oh, it is aura. I'll say that. It is aura listening to that song. I haven't listened to it in so long now. I need to listen to it again. Yep, it's official. This page is going to take me 2 hours to do. One, two, three, four. We accept her. You know what? I also need to find this other channel, because there was this other channel that made music, and it was just, I think the channel was just called Meets Metal, where it would take classic songs like My Heart Will Go On, or the Ghostbusters theme. I love the Ghostbusters theme in that style, but it was like My Heart Will Go On meets metal, or yeah, Ghostbusters meets metal, and it would just take that tune and make it metal with the original lyrics, and oh, it wasn't a rock cover, because he still had like, it was just instrumental. He wasn't actually singing or adding lyrics to it. His Jurassic Park one was also really funny. You know, Jurassic Park meets metal. But it was kick-ass. Now, if we get this page done in under 2 hours, we might just sit and chat for a bit. If that's okay with y'all. Depending on how I'm feeling, because I'm actually gonna have lunch on stream today, hopefully. I know this isn't a uniquely me experience, but this is just something that, you know, talking about old nostalgia and whatnot. Even when I was a kid, I was the old-timey references nostalgia bait. Like, what people would call now retro. Even back then I was retro, because I would just watch what my parents were watching and listen to what they listened to. And my parents are from the 70s, 80s. So I knew a bunch of old movies like Short Circuit, Star Wars, Star Trek. Not just the prequels, like I knew the OGs. I think the first Star Trek movie I actually sat down and watched in its entirety was A Voyage Home. The first one I saw parts of was First Contact, but that was Next Generation. I was like, you know, I'm not really... The board freaked me out. As a wee babe. The board freaked me out. And then, you know, Voyage Home was one of them. I thought, you know what, this is hilarious. Whoever this Chekhov guy is, he's the funniest character, in my opinion. And Bones. Chekhov and Bones were always my favorite. But then, of course, that's when I watched Wrath of Khan later. And I think Search for Spock? I don't remember. I know I watched all of the OGs eventually. I got around to watching all of them, but I'm not sure what order I watched them in. I do know when I finally watched the first, like, Star Trek the Motion Picture, that was the most slow and boring movie I had ever seen. But that's only because I haven't seen 2000 Space Odyssey. I haven't seen that yet. But oh my. It would have been a cool episode. That's the thing. The motion picture with V'ger would have been a cool episode. But as a movie, ugh, the pacing was so bad. And I'm just, gee, who was in charge of the writing? It was atrocious. And then, like, not even a year later, they came out with Wrath of Khan, and I think they actually hired a movie director for the Wrath of Khan, because I think I have no evidence to back this up, aside from just what my eyes saw. What I think happened with the first Star Trek the Motion Picture, I think what they did is that they took all of the same writers for the show, and said, alright, make a movie. And they're like, oh, here's an idea we had for, like, a scrapped episode. And then they say, alright, make it a movie. Make a movie length. And they're, okay, let's add this. And then we'll add that. And then we'll just make this last 5 years because we need to pad out the running time. Appalling. The story wasn't bad, though. That's the thing. The story was there. It would have been cool. But the pacing was terrible. Actually, since that... So I think what happened for Wrath of Khan is they actually hired a movie director and writer and just said, alright, Gene, consult for character. What was really cool is the Wrath of Khan, wow, there was one continuity error that I will nitpick. Because I think it's funny that Star Trek legitimately forgot Chekhov was not in Season 1. Okay, so for the Wrath of Khan, it was a continuation of what happened in a Season 1, I think. Season 1 episode, where they meet, Khan, I can't remember his name, but where they meet Khan, and, you know, it's basically like Into Darkness. He was in cryo, and then they wake him up accidentally, and then he's violent. He tries to wake his whole crew. They put him back into cryo because violence, and we can't have that. And send him to a colony. City Alpha 5. Is he an exile on a colony. Years later, for the movie The Wrath of Khan, everyone's gone their separate ways, they're all on their own ships. Chekhov is the first officer on a different ship with, oh, what's his name? Don't tell me. Chekhov and Captain... What was his name? Oh my god, I'm actually blanking. I can't remember his name. We had 2 cats named after them. Well, hang on, guys. This is genuinely an issue of continuity. If I'm gonna argue about continuity, I need to have my name straight. I'll be right back. Mom! Karl and Chekhov were checking out this colony, and then turns out they thought it was City Alpha 6. Turns out this desert planet that was this forested utopia is actually City Alpha 5, and they found Botany Bay. Oh no! Khan is there, and Khan looks at Chekhov and says, I never forget a face. Here's the continuity error. The episode where Khan meets the crew was in Season 1. Chekhov didn't join the Enterprise until Season 2! Chekhov was not there! The one major continuity error between the show and the movies, and that's the one that bugs me. Because Chekhov wasn't even I remember Chekhov wasn't a character for Season 1, because I was watching the old show, because when we had DirecTV, I was scrolling through the episodes, and I'm like, where's Chekhov? Where's Chekhov? Where is the best character in the entire show, second to Bones? Where is Chekhov? And then I looked it up on his IMDb. First episode was in the middle of Season 2, and I'm just, God, alright, fine. So anyway, Chekhov and Terrell. That was the captain's name. I had to go get my mom. it's kind of funny that they forgot Chekhov wasn't a character until then. Because then it's like, Chekhov is such a pinnacle part of the crew. Now, I guess it was hard for them. They forgot that there was a time where Chekhov wasn't even a character. And I guess they also forgot they love to leave Chekhov out of every other episode. Even though he was part of the main crew, he was the weapons officer. But they loved to forget Chekhov was a character. So much so, it's even bled into some of the fan works. I've seen, like, fan creations of Star Trek episodes or, like, Star Trek parodies, and Chekhov is nowhere to be found, and I am screaming because it's unfair. Chekhov's my second favorite character, especially in the movies. Oh my god, there's so... I don't remember what movie it was. I think it was the motion picture. Because they were all on vacation, and they went, Chekhov and Sulu were like the dynamic duo. They were on a walk, and they were like, "Don't tell them we got lost. We'll never live it down." And Chekhov was like, we got caught in a blizzard. Blowing into the transponder, pretending that they were trapped in a blizzard and couldn't make it to the rendezvous. So they just... because they didn't want to admit that they got lost on a hike with Sulu, and Sulu's just looking at them. God, Chekhov is genuinely he's one of the funniest characters in Star Trek. Because, I mean, Bones is Bones, so of course he's hilarious. A teddy bear? I think that's one of my favorite Bones lines in one of the earliest episodes. A teddy bear? When he learned that Spock grew up with a stuffed animal, and it was basically like a teddy bear, the Vulcan version of a teddy bear, and it was like a saber-toothed beast or something. But Bones was relishing in the fact, and he beelined straight for Spock's mother and went, "What was he like as a kid? Because he wasn't always like this. He couldn't have been." He was asking for the deets, girl. Spill the tea on baby Spock. Because I need to know. God, their rivalry was more entertaining than anything else, than any of the fights in the show. Yeah, even in Next Generation, the rivalry between Bones and Spock was more entertaining than all of Next Generation. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Next Generation. I love the crew of Next Generation. I love Picard. He's a very good captain. Same with Kirk. A lot of people forget that Kirk is a very smart, very well-educated, very, nerd. He's a nerd. A lot of people forget that Spock's a nerd. But that, Kirk is also a nerd. He's a huge book nerd. But every iteration, they're like, Spock, why do I keep saying Spock? What the fuck? Of Kirk, they keep showing him as this demure ladies man, this Don Juan Casanova, which that wasn't. Where was that in the original show? Because I obviously watched a different Star Trek original series, because that just was not there. Sure, he was a romantic at heart, but he was a romantic for history, for culture. He was also a bit of a fascist, but not everyone's perfect. So it's just, it baffles me when people write James Tiberius Kirk a certain way, and I'm just, come on, guys. Like, I would like the reboot movies, but they got Kirk's character, I won't say completely wrong, but it was a vast departure from the original show. Did you even watch it? sorry, Ivy Whisper, forgot about you. You want to know the funniest thing about this entire rant? The funniest thing? I'm not even that big of a Star Trek fan. I'm a Star Wars fan. And yes, I do enjoy Star Trek, but not as much as I do Star Wars. And, Elias, stop looking. Stop. Oh, my chair's really squeaky. I'm sorry if you guys didn't hear that. The thing is, I'll get into heated arguments and discussions about Star Trek and not Star Wars, because I've been in heated conversations about Star Wars, and I'm so burnt out and tired about trying to explain to people the point of the prequels and why the sequels are garbage. I'm done explaining it to people, and why y'all slept on Rebels. I'm so tired explaining it to people. Now, I will argue all the livelong day how Q is actually the best addition to Star Trek they ever added. And the Ferengi are the literal fucking worst. I don't care about Deep Space Nine. I tried to watch Deep Space Nine. I watched the I watched the pilot episode, and I was like, okay, so if this is the captain's shtick, if this is his deal, I'm not sure I'm gonna like it. But, you know what? I shouldn't really judge a show by their pilot, because just based on the pilot, Hell of a Boss was gonna be a very funny and entertaining and well-written comedy. Look what happened. And the pilot for Star Trek was day and night between the original, what we actually got in the show, because the pilot episode followed Captain Pike. Christopher Pike, who was the captain of the Enterprise before Kirk. I was like, really? This is the pilot episode? They also did a few things with the story in the pilot episode that I'm like, oh. Ooh. Well, that was the time period. It was nothing terrible. It was just the, the concept of beauty and whatnot. It was like, okay. That and the backgrounds were just felt boards. It was so funny. You watch the original... Somehow, get your hands on the original pilot episode of Star Trek with Christopher Pine. And it was the original pilot, because it was so freaking funny. The backgrounds for that entire... that entire show were just, like, half a set and felt boards. I don't even think we saw the Enterprise. I don't remember, because I was too busy laughing. Now, I know, CGI has come a long way, and that's what we had at the time. But, at the time, this was state-of-the-art. Star Trek pushed a lot of boundaries in what was allowed on television, and I will applaud it for that. I will not deny Star Trek broke the mold and set a lot of precedents for what media was going to be in the future. I do appreciate that. However, that doesn't mean I can't laugh at its just unabashed 60s corniness. I can't not laugh at it. Like, I enjoy the prequel Star Wars movies, and yes, I understand Attack of the Clones has some of the vomit-inducing dialogue between Padme and Anakin about their love that would destroy themselves. But it's funny! That's part of the appeal, guys! It's funny! George Lucas himself admitted he's a hopeless romantic. And yet, okay, I hate when people say that the, Revenge of the Sith was cringe. Excuse you, Revenge of the Sith is one of the best Star Wars movies ever. Especially if you take, if you watch Clone Wars, and then, Revenge of the Sith. It hurts. If you watch Clone Wars, the TV show, and then watch Revenge of the Sith, you will be bawling your eyes out harder than I did the first time. Like, the first time I watched the movie, I was crying during Order 66. After watching, the Clone Wars TV show, I was sobbing like a baby. But then after watching Star Wars, which is just this internet YouTube poop parody of the Revenge of the Sith, I just keep laughing. I start laughing. But I mean, regardless, y'all can't deny the thrill of the Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace was amazing. That pod. I'm not into racing, but I just might have to get into racing because of every time there's a pod racer bit in Star Wars, especially, you know, for the Phantom Menace, that pod racing scene was very entertaining. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Not as entertaining as the Gungan fight. I think that was my favorite of when I was a kid. I loved the Gungan fight. And come on, Duel of Fates, the music, was that Hans Zimmer? He slapped with that soundtrack. Star Wars, say what you will about the writing of Star Wars and how it's very on the nose and how the prequels were all about politics. Yeah, it's about a war. Of course it's about politics. Do you remember Star Trek? Star Trek is all politics, and they're fascists. I don't care. Star Wars has the better soundtrack. I said it. I'll say it again with my whole chest. Star Wars has a better soundtrack than Star Trek. That's objective fact. Come on. The Imperial March? Shut up. Duel of Fates? Sit down. Can anyone name one score from Star Trek that is better than what Star Wars did? Can you even name one score from Star Trek that isn't the main theme song of just do 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 do? I mean, sure, it's fun to hum along to, but compared to Star Wars, it's not, it doesn't slap as hard. Any Trekkies in the chat or in the comments after the fact, feel free to blame me for being a Star Wars fan, especially nowadays. Oh my god, I will say, disclaimer, as a Star Wars hoe, I did not watch The Acolyte, nor will I ever, because that was hot garbage. I did love, Andor, though. Not Andor. Yeah, Andor. That was a very good show. And also, say what you will about Anakin and Padme's relationship. Their love song, Across the Stars, oh, it is beautiful. It's so it's such a love song, but it's also tragic. It feels like you can feel the tragedy coming when you hear the song Across the Stars. And it's beautiful. You may think Star Wars is boring. For like the 1% of you that doesn't have an attention span over 2 minutes. You may mock. And you will. You have my permission to mock. You cannot deny the soundtrack absolutely kills. And I will have no further arguments on the matter. Anyone else who says otherwise is just wrong. Do I think that Star Wars has the best soundtrack ever? No, there are others that have very good soundtracks that I listen to more so than the Star Wars one. Like a personal example, Dread. Dread, for me personally, has a much better soundtrack than Star Wars does. However, Dread is just one movie, and Star Wars is an entire franchise. Unfortunately, I wish Dread had more. You know, more good than slop. But it's not... Star Trek is not better than Star Wars when it comes to the score. Everything else, up for debate. The score of Star Wars is objectively better than Star Trek. I know I keep repeating myself, but I'm hammering it into your heads. I defy you to point out... I defy you to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Is that actually his ear color? Yeah, it is. Alright, now here's an actual up for debate. And if my sister is listening, she can argue with me on this as well. Who has the better soundtrack? Star Wars or Pirates of the Caribbean? Discuss. Off the top of my head, I'll say Star Wars, but He's a Pirate, the Davy Jones theme, the music box, Pirate's Life for Me, what's another one? Hoist the Colors. Really good songs, but as a whole, is it better than Star Wars? And I personally, I don't think so, and I want people to argue with me on this one. Because there's room for argument there. Because Star Wars and Pirates of the Caribbean are both franchises. Star Wars is technically bigger, so it has more contenders. Like, say what you will about Book of Boba Fett, that intro song was very catchy. And The Mandalorian literally had a dubstep track. That was a wild episode. Filoni's a madman. Well, my chat isn't flooded with profanity, so my sister obviously isn't listening. She's a huge Pirates of the Caribbean nerd. And I'll say that, yeah, you're a nerd. You actually read the books, holy crap. The books do sort of enrich the story, but then again, not a lot of people read them, so it's kind of sad. Star Wars just has more. Is there a franchise that's just as big as Star Wars that we can compare a soundtrack to? Because off the top of my head, I can't think of any. But Star Wars not only has 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... 11 movies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 shows, give or take. These are all like rough estimates off the top of my head. Several novels and more than a few comic lines, plus video games, plus novellas. Yeah. Star Wars is a huge franchise. When you think about it, Star Wars is such a big franchise, it is baffling how much lore you can fit into the one franchise based on the concept of the hero's journey. Like, if you don't like the main movies for Star Wars, that's fine. You will find something you like in the realm of Star Wars. You will, because there's like the Clone Commandos video game that everybody loved. There was like Force Unleashed, which was pretty cool. There's oh, there was that other show. I completely forgot about Star Wars Resistance because nobody watched it. In my opinion, that was very bad. There was that other Star Wars one, and I totally forgot about Skeleton Crew. There's so much Star Wars, it's oversaturated. Most of it, you know, since Disney Plus got their grubby, greedy, slimy hands all over it, especially Disney Plus. Oh, bleh. Vomit. Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit! Okay, now he just needs his nose. We are an hour and 20 minutes into this stream, and I finally finished the character flats. But then again, we did have that, we did have that Star Trek rant in the middle. Can you blame me? Okay. Save. And sip. Oh, it's not quite set. Damn! I changed the chat window, if you guys haven't noticed. Excuse me, phone. I'm talking. I changed the chat window to look like an actual old 98 with dial-up internet, and your chat bubbles are actually pop-up windows, which I thought was just the funniest thing I could do. Finally got it to work, so sorry if you can't actually read it. But, you know, this VOD will be live on my channel immediately after the fact, so you can watch it there. Back again. You just missed my 20-minute long Star Wars versus Star Trek rant. Oh no! There was... oh shit. There's supposed to be a whole ass background back here. Hold up, hold up, hold up. We can fix... I can fix that, I can fix that, I can fix that. Hold on to your butts. Just gonna put... you can't quite see it from back there, but if I at least put the lines here, I know where to shade things. Actually, no, it should be over here. Now, I will say there are a bunch of video games that... oh my god, dogs. There are a bunch of video games that have objectively you know, very good soundtracks in comparison to Star Wars. I swear, those dogs are on a hair trigger. Anyway. You know, first example that came to mind was Undertale. Undertale has such a good soundtrack, but it's one game. I said it. I said it. All the fan comics and fan animations and whatnot, they don't count as part of the franchise. That's the fandom. Different area. The Undertale as a franchise is just one game, and its soundtrack slaps. Same with, not quite same with, because How to Train Your Dragon is pretty big. It's 3 movies, plus, you know, holiday specials, plus, they had that TV show, Riders of Berk. We could count the 6 Realms and Homecoming and whatnot. We could count that, but I personally don't, because it's garbage, but it is part of the franchise. We do have to count it, because if we only counted the good of Star Wars, it's only 6 movies and 5 TV shows. I said it. Which 5? I'm not gonna say. Because that is for argumenting. I'm gonna move this up a bit. Actually, no, I'm not. It's fine right where it is. Okay, backgrounds. This is gonna be a solid block. I'm not sure. Okay, I don't know if it's actually gonna be this color. So we're just, you know, this block is going to be the same as the background in a previous page. Excuse. I'm gonna make it that color so I can layer everything on top of it. There we go. I'm gonna do this window first because it is also the same background for the next 2 panels on the next page. So if I can get, whoops, this page figured out. Oh, wait, hold up. Let me bring up, camp. And even Stargate doesn't have that good of a soundtrack. It's not terrible, but in comparison to Star Wars, Stargate's pretty lacking when it comes to the soundtrack department, which is really sad because I love Stargate. I love the movie, I love the original movie with, oh fuck, why am I forgetting his name? Who was Daniel Jackson in the original? He was Ultron in Age of Ultron. What is up with me and forgetting names today? Usually I'm like on top of names. Maybe it's because I'm live streaming. I do notice my memory goldfishes when I'm live streaming. Anyway, I love the original movie of Stargate. The show was good. I haven't finished the original show, but Stargate's got a lot of TV shows. And, I think they have a spin-off series, you know, Stargate Atlantis. which I haven't watched it because it is a continuation of the SG-1 series. Which I love Stargate SG-1. I know Michael Shank played Daniel in the TV show. He did an amazing job. Oh my god, Michael was so good in that show. And in every other show he shows up in. I'll say that. He's a great actor. Okay, that's a sunbeam over there. Just regular dust. James Spader! James Spader was the original Daniel Jackson, who was also the voice of MCU Ultron. Finally! Oh my... Okay. Hot take. Age of Ultron wasn't that bad. I said it. I said it. A lot of people say Age of Ultron was like the worst thing ever. It was the worst Avengers movie ever. It's like, excuse you? Yes, the reasoning behind a lot of decisions that were made in that movie, I almost said show, in that movie were for bad reasons. I'm looking at you, Josh. Or Joss. Yeah, Joss Whedon. I'm looking at you, Joss Whedon. What the hell was that? But James Spader's performance as Ultron, I think, kind of carried the movie because, oh my god. I never thought, you know, looking at Daniel Jackson, watching his performance as Daniel Jackson, was like, you know what? This man needs to be a robot. But he did, and he killed it. Oh my god, he killed it! The performance was just so good, and we're getting a little too personal here, guys, but his voice, whoo! That filter, whatever filter they always put on robotic performances is, muy bueno. This is a terrible bush. Am I going to do solid cartoony? What's up? Oh, thanks.
Be mindful your sandwich may fall apart.
Okay. Just like my life. Oh, Talia.
Yes.
Genuine question of which you must answer. Who has the better soundtrack as a whole?
I heard this question and I'm still thinking about
Star
it.
Wars or Pirates of the Caribbean?
I don't know. Because I like it when they're mashed together. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's the best. Like, that's the best of both worlds. But I don't know. I gotta say, Star Wars.
Okay.
Even though I'm leaning, like, I'm in the middle, but I'm leaning.
I called you a Caribbean nerd because you actually read the books.
I did, and I love the soundtrack, but the thing that I really like about Star Wars that makes me like lean more towards it is the Anakin and Padme love song.
That's what I brought up too. Across the
across the stars.
Across the stars, it's flat.
Star Wars for that.
I mean, especially come on, Imperial March, Duel of Fates.
Yeah, Duel of Fates is good.
Attack on the Jedi Temple. Okay.
I'm in the middle because I love both of them. But...
Now, this probably isn't gonna stay, but which background do you think looks better for the comic overall? Stuff like this, where it's like highly detailed and rendered and whatnot, or like this? Now remember, keep in mind, the shading is gonna stay the same.
Right.
So would this look too jarring against the regular shading?
I don't know. Because the ground is super detailed, and then the bush is just not.
Well, it's because I was trying to render out the bushes and it looked terrible, so...
I don't know.
I can just do this and then blur it.
Yeah. Especially for, like, the background trees.
Alright,
like, they don't need
sky's
to
a different color.
But yeah, I don't know.
Oh, but do you agree that, Star Wars has a phenomenally better soundtrack than Star Trek ever will?
Yes.
Ever. Ever.
There's some Star Trek sounds where I'm like, Star Wars? No.
Cats are fighting.
It's Mr. Black's.
You let Ditsy out and go get him.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alright, so that was my... She concedes that Star Wars has a better soundtrack than Pirates of the Caribbean. It is confirmed. We've listened to both sides of the argument. Now, Stargate, on the other hand, is a good franchise, but the soundtrack is lackluster. But then again, the show, Stargate was an experience. The acting was peak. The direction might have been a little hit or miss, but the the backgrounds and sets were okay. It was just like Stardate suffers from the low budget. We use the same backgrounds but flip it, and only filming in Canada. Curse of a lot of low budget TV shows. So that's unfortunate. So there'll be some episodes where you'll be watching the show and go, that's the same background, exact same background, and set up from this episode. They just flipped it and added a different gradient on the trees. There was one where it was the exact same background as the previous episode, but they made the trees pink. I shit you not. That is a legit thing that has happened on my Stardate franchise. Like, what the hell is going on up in Canada? I'm gonna finish this background and I'm gonna eat the lunch that my sister gave me. blur these out just a bit more. Give them... yeah, there we go. Now for them bare bushes, I'm not sure what we're gonna do here. That's too blue. She doesn't want blue. Blue and yellow. No. Hey, Moz! You just missed it. We had a huge debate on who has the better soundtrack, Star Wars or Pirates of the Caribbean. And Star Wars won. Unless you have any argument unless you have a counter argument. I mean, uh-oh. No, that's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, yep. This was actually supposed to be pushed out, and this was supposed to be a clipping mask. So, to counteract my oopsie, and some of these, and some of them. That's on the wrong layer. Counters on us, I would never watch Star Wars, and therefore will, and therefore automatically just say Pirates is better. But I mean, like, everyone knows the Imperial March when it comes to, like, Star Wars, because it's been memed to death. Or, like, the Star Wars theme song. Everyone I won't say everyone knows that, because not everyone's an American, but still. For being, like, iconic, Star Wars is definitely very iconic. I mean, Pirates is too, but I think Star Wars is more iconic solely on the basis for A, being a much older franchise, and B, being more than just movies, because Star Wars is also comics, TV shows, video games, and all that jazz. Is that perhaps too much? Perhaps. But we'll see. I fell asleep trying to watch the first movie and got bored. I have words that I will not say because I want to stay monetized. I grew up watching Star Wars in its entirety, you know, starting with The Phantom Menace and the original movies, so, like, Star Wars is just very important to me, because it's, like, how do I explain it? Core memories. It's got some core memories for me. It was my entire personality for a while when I was a kid. It very much was my kind of autism. So when people say that they found Star Wars boring, I was like, how? Were you not paying attention? And that's usually it. People just weren't paying attention. So, you know, it's fine, I guess. I think Harry Potter's boring. So, I mean... if you don't flame me for thinking Harry Potter's boring, I won't flame you for thinking Star Wars is boring. Alright, we'll agree on that. But here's the thing, how do you get bored watching the first Star Wars movie? It starts with a firefight. I'm sorry. You know what? I promised I wouldn't flame you. You know what? Sorry. I promised. I made a promise. I wouldn't flame you. But I think Harry Potter's very boring. You were 10. Okay. I guess that is a viable excuse. Alright, you are pardoned. Just, I grew up watching those kinds of movies. I watched the original Jurassic Park when I was 4. The thing I liked was Barbie or Ben 10. I'm old. Actually, I think I'm older than you, Maz. But yeah, I remember the Barbie movies. Princess and the Pauper's the best one. I could argue about Barbie movies all the live long day. Yeah, we can do that. What was the best OG Barbie movie, and why is it Princess and the Pauper? I will not be hearing any more arguments for the counter. You know, technically, all this should be in the background. Pray for the rain of Bremingers here. And I think it also had the best songs. Like, everyone shut up. Princess and the Pauper had the best music. It also had the best villains. It also had the, you know, the best love interest. It had the best story. There were actual stakes. I mean, come on. Martin Short as the villain. Damn it all. That's pure cinema. And that's what it is. It was just pure cinema. Up the brush space. Brush spacing. I hate having a speech impediment. Oh my god. I absolutely hate it. Yeah, the one with the cat that would bark. You're no status quo, calico, so what you trying to be? Cause you're more than that. You're a doggish cat. Wish you could be the you I see. It was literally a song about celebrating your differences, and it was just... When I first saw it, though, I was like, oh no, he didn't! And you're always free to begin again. And you're always free to believe. You and I will always be celebrating life together. I have found a friend in you forevermore. And you may not know where your journey leads, and you may not know from the start. If you listen, I forgot some of the words. You'll find destiny is written in your heart. Banger. Also, the love song between what's his name? Erica and... Why am I blanking on his name? He's the Duke. Anyway, their love song, Love Me For Me, shut up. Best song ever made. I don't care. The amount of time... I would be like, Elsa is my world. I remember when Frozen first came out. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. What pissed me off about Frozen, though, was Hans being a twist villain did not make sense retrospectively. It felt very thrown in last minute, very slapped on. And the, oh god, no one would shut up about that movie. And it's just, okay, fine. Everyone was talking about Let It Go and how it was literally everywhere. And I'm sitting there like, man, what about In Summer? That was a good song. I mean, yeah, I love Hans. Don't get me wrong. He's a great character. It's just him suddenly being the villain was like, okay. When he was being a villain, oh, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Hans being the villain, was, you know, he was beautiful at it. I applaud him. But if you, like, the writing was not consistent on that part. Like, we saw it coming because we were expecting a twist villain. Because Disney cannot go a movie without having some sort of twist villain. And it makes no damn sense. Why? What's wrong with straightforward villains? Or, you know, they either need a twist villain or to make it so I'm not really the bad guy. It's like, ugh. It's not hard to manipulate a sheltered teenager. But I mean, like, some of his, like, other behaviors were like, okay. It's not quite, I mean, at least with a good twist villain is where you look back on the movie and go, oh my god, why didn't I see that coming? It was so obvious retrospectively. But when if your twist villain is, that came out of nowhere, then it wasn't very well written. Him as a character, I love Hans. When he was being a villain, oh, so manipulative. I love it. But, like, compared to another air quote twist villain, like Sentinel Prime from Transformers 1, spoilers if you haven't seen it, where have you been? He's such a good villain because he doesn't change. His persona is very much glued, his mask is very much glued to his face. He'll murder you with a smile. And he is also very pretty. I will say that. He is very pretty. You know what, sisters? I'm not sure about this one. Oh, that's why it looks overpowering. Hold up. This is actually supposed to be a 50. There we go. And you may not know from the start. Give me a personality that you wouldn't usually give a main character, because I'm stumped. A personality that you wouldn't usually give a main character. Personally, or wouldn't expect it? Because personally, I tend not to give my main characters personalities that annoy me, because then I won't want to write them. I usually leave the annoying ones for, like, antagonists, like Short Tail here. Unless that's, like, their whole journey is supposed to be that they learn to get over themselves and stop being, like, a selfish, bratty child. I'll only write a protagonist that starts that way if their entire arc is them getting over themselves. Actually, I might only turn that one down a little bit. Alright, here's a question for one of the, for the nerds. Should I... No, that's not how you do it. How do you do that? Because it's... Well, it's stupid, so I'm not doing that. Yeah, what if I make the character forcibly get over themselves? Oh yeah, you gotta... They gotta start one way, and then the inciting incident happens, and the entire plot is get off your ass, or is stop complaining, literally shut the hell up. Like, say this character's a spoiled brat, and the inciting incident is they get drafted or something, and the entire plot is telling them, hey, you are not the pretty princess you think you are. And it slowly but painfully turns them into a badass. A reluctant badass, but one all the same. Yeah, like, they actually have to face consequences for their own inadequacies, and now they actually have blood on their hands. They need to get their hands dirty. Like, a good example of a less violent nature. A good example of a main protagonist that started as this rich, prissy, I will just hire someone else to do it for me character that turns into this gunslinging badass slowly over the course of the movie is Tremors 4. Now, it is an old niche monster movie, but that is like a perfect example of that. This, you know, rich silver mine owner is trying to figure out why his silver mine is not in production. What are y'all talking about, these monsters? It just means they simply just don't want to work. It's hard to get good help these days. And then suddenly, in trying to figure out what's wrong with his silver mine, he's actually face to face with these creatures, and oh my god, they will eat you alive if you don't fight back. And he has to do it himself. Mostly because it's the Wild West, and he's the only one that can afford all these guns. But it's a very good example of a character forced to get over themselves. And he's not completely annoying. Like, he's not, at least personally, because, like, I know where the story was going. He's not completely insufferable in the beginning. He's just like rich and posh. So if you can stand posh, his character development is pretty funny. Because it's solely based on survival. Fortness to witness the favorite person's death over and over again every time they... Then you would then that's very cool, Moz. But then you would get Edge of Tomorrow. A movie with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt where he's forced to relive that same day over and over, and he actually dies multiple times, and every time he dies it resets. And he needs to, like, use that power to help fight these aliens and whatnot. But having them in an eternal loop like that would force them to... Yeah, it would force an arc on them. Or you could go the tragedy route where they never learn, they never move on, and they are eternally stuck in that loop because they never left. Kind of like with Little Nightmares 2 with Mo. Mo never leaves the Nightmare Realm. He never leaves nowhere. He becomes the Hat Man. 6 leaves. Which is, like, the tragedy of his story. He never left. You could make it a tragedy, or make it a heroic story where they actually learn and move on, and maybe not happily ever after, but at least better than yesterday. As time passes, every time I have a new friend. And that friend dies. Okay. Speaking of death and mayhem, did you guys see the trailer for the new Final Destination movie? I haven't even seen the original Final Destinations, but I want to watch this new one. Because, oh my god, I love suspense. And that entire trailer was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Near-death experiences off the wazoo, and it was so good. This makes me want to watch the other Final Destination movies. Yeah, it, like, just dropped, like, a few weeks ago. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know what this is, but oh my god, this is amazing. I love how each death is so creative and, like, not what you thought it was gonna be. And people do die in Final Destination. That's not a spoiler or anything. That's just part of the franchise. People die in very creative ways, in ways that you don't expect them to die. Like, a bottle breaks when they're serving drinks, and there's a piece of glass in the ice. Oh no! This person goes to drink it. It's like, oh no, they're gonna drink the glass. Who has the glass? And it's but then they put their glass down and go jump on the trampoline. Oh no, there's a rake under the trampoline. They're gonna land on it. And like all these things are leading up to like a domino effect that is going to kill someone. That is like the point of Final Destination. Someone will die. But then when the dominoes finally tip over, it's like, oh my god, I did not see that coming. But it's not like a, hey, you didn't see that coming. It's like a, we had this planned from the beginning and wrote it backwards. So it's like, oh, yes. I love it when writers obviously have a plan. It was glorious. So anyway, I've never seen a Final Destination movie in my life, and I need to fix that. Because this just looked amazing. Oh, whoops. There we go. Run, Leia! even half that layer. I'm gonna go to bed now, bye-bye. Once you go to bed and enjoy your sleep there, Maz. Appreciate you checking in. So there it is. Wait, how much of this am I actually gonna see? Let's go! Excuse you? What the hell's going on here? Okay. Incoming. Incoming transmission from Planet Dog. There's the man! He's here! Shh. I said I was gonna finish that background and then, eat my lunch. Well, now it's cold, I bet. Alright, we're gonna save and snack. Sandwich! No. Ah, no, what? There we go. Lunchtime. Doom. Doom. Ooh. A fish sandwich. I might need a fork for this, actually. If you would, please. Oh, my fries are soggy now. I waited too long. Fish good all the same. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna need it.
Yeah, like I said, it might fall apart.
What do we got here? We got what looks like a fried, breaded fish sandwich with fries, fry sauce, with horseradish. I love horseradish. We've been eating a lot of bread this past 2 weeks because Passover is next week. And if you don't know anything about Passover, we don't eat bread on Passover. Also meaning we can't have it in the house. So we're going through, we're eating all the breadcrumbs we can find, we're doing all the, I got a bunch of hot dog buns and bagels, breaded fish. We gotta eat all of it before sundown on the first day of Passover. Or we will be breaking Torah. We must get rid of all the chametz. anything with activated yeast in it of a certain amount, depending on which denomination you follow, they have different rules, different halacha, which is the way to walk. In our community, if it's unactivated yeast, it doesn't count. You can still keep that. So we're not throwing out our old yeast. But if it's already activated, eat it. My onions fell out! Oh, there's horseradish on the sandwich, too. We got some bread on bread action, though. Should I have lunch break music? So it's not just my same background music all the time? I mean, I could. It'd just be a little extra thing to set up. It wouldn't be too much trouble. It's just, I can't hear the music. So it wouldn't have made much of a difference to me. I'm just wondering, asking you guys since you're the viewer. I have a little hand sanitizer here. For when I need it. Lotion. There's a lot of fry sauce here. Hang on, I'm gonna need to... I'm gonna need to double dip. Okay, I get not double dipping when you're like sharing a bowl at a restaurant with a bunch of friends and whatnot. Not double dipping there. I get that. So I feel like you have your own personal thing. And people are like, oh, don't double dip. I'm like, this is my own private ketchup. I'll lick it if I want. I'll spit in it if I want, man. It's my own. I actually got looked down at from a fellow kid. Not from an adult. A fellow kid. For eating an ice cream sandwich and licking my fingers. Because, you know, when you eat an ice cream sandwich, you get the wafer cookie bits all on your fingers, so it gets stuck to you. And they were like, does anyone need any napkins to wipe off the cookies? And everyone was like wiping their hands off. And I'm like, what for? And I just, like, well, then how are you gonna get the cookies off? And I just, you know, just put it in my mouth and like ate off the cookie. And they're like, that's gross. And I'm like, you ate it with your hands and it's just the cookie. How is it gross? They didn't have a good response for that. They just turned away and walked. And handed out extra napkins. So that's how I knew I won that argument. it happened decades ago, but it still lives in my head rent-free, because I'm just, how is it gross to lick your fingers after eating finger food? Now, if I just wiped it on my pants, like ice cream and all, then I could say, yeah, that's a little, it's not disgusting, it's just messy. I mean, I washed my hands prior, so I don't see how it's disgusting. It's just, I think about stuff like that. It keeps me up at night. This sandwich is going to fall apart. I still think about that. I think, honestly, the weirdest thing about my childhood wasn't how the adults reacted to me, because the adults either told me to stop crying in math class, gave me A+ on my science and writing assignments, or just flat out ignored me. It was my fellow classmates that were often, either actually helping me with my math homework, because my classmates cared, or the other classmates were just looking down on me for being weird, or gross, and whatnot. They were the ones being like, that's disgusting. And so like, are you not allowed to be a kid? Kids, put your hands in your mouth. Seriously, children, lick rocks, chew on grass, put your hands in your mouth. Lick it. Now, be sure to wipe your hands off and wash them after you're done licking your fingers. Let's be let's not be totally unsanitary. Wash your hands before you touch your keyboard, or your phone, or doorknobs, because nothing's worse than a sticky doorknob. I mean, come on. Live a little. I think I even had a classmate of mine tell me to stop being childish. I was like, but we are kids. Now, I didn't act like a baby. I wasn't that kind of brain damaged. But, like, I would say, hey, why are y'all worrying about stuff like that, like dating and whatnot? That's an adult thing. I'm like, oh, grow up. It's like, you're telling me Taylor looks hot, and he's literally a chihuahua with a wig. And you're saying I need to grow up if you think that's attractive? Meanwhile, me, I'm saying, hey, I don't know what sexual attraction is, but that checkoff is pretty cute. Fictional men are just more appealing. Just got a few more fries left here, guys, and then I'll get back to it. No. I shouldn't have said short stream because we're pushing 3 hours. Like 2 hours and 26 minutes. But I should have said slow stream. Just only got the one page. Thursday, though, should be a full stream. I got a lot of rep sheets I need to do. So that'll be fun. Alright, I'm going to put these back. Wash my hands and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Oh, wait, door. Water! Stay hydrated. Oh, damn. Pick that up. Whew. Clear off my desk. Pull forward the drill ring. Put my glove back on. And back to it. Oh, that's the wrong. That's pure black. Whoops. just do the same thing here as we did on the bottom. Blurt. And work our way forward. Now, I might not use... Woo! Sorry. That's why my mouse is in the wrong area. Oh, wait, actually, this is the guidance path of City Alpha 6. Okay, this is just this. Yep, there we go. That's better. That's the thing, after eating, my mouth just fills up with, not mucus, but it is phlegm, and it's in my throat, and I'm just, ugh. I guess that's why I'm always drinking something. My mouth is just constantly building up. I know that might be TMI for some people, but, you know, whatever. Very few things are taboo under the sun. Or, to quote Eclipse from Pink Floyd, everything under the sun is in tune, but the sun is eclipsed by the moon. Or, is it... Yeah, everything under the sun is in tune, but the sun is eclipsed by the moon. Which at first glance doesn't make any sense, but that's actually pretty profound, very profound lyrics. Uh-oh. You know, I'm starting to think I should make this blue the background color, since it's pretty much the sky that's always in the background of every other page. There. Oops. And now we switch back and actually fix this. Whew. Wow. That took longer than necessary. Since this frame is perfect, I'm going to merge this one down completely because I need to copy paste it for the next panel. You rearrange me till I'm sane. If the banjo starts playing a different tune, I see you on the dark side of the moon. And if the shouts thunder in your ear, you shout but no one seems to hear. And then, yeah. And if the banjo starts playing a different tune, I see you on the dark side of the moon. try hard light 50% up here. And blend over that. Maybe turn it down. Because the line art also needs to get colored. I almost forgot about that. Oh, Hawk wants in. Yeah. Oh, poor baby girl. My poor cat. Keeps getting bullied by the other cats. And she's just a little girl. Now we start, shading on main. I'm not sure. Am I doing red here? I mean, I could, and am I under shading? Because I know this is shaded to make it dramatic. Perhaps. Hmm. I think it would look better if I colored and put the glow effect right now. Right now. Just so. If I also add, because this is a dramatic shot, so I don't mind layering a bunch of, you know, extra shading and whatnot, if it's like a dramatic thing. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. You lock the door and throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. That's my favorite line in that whole song. And of course, you know, in Eclipse, which is technically a whole other song, but I like including them together. Everything under the sun is in tune, but the sun is eclipsed by the moon. Oh, I don't know what the hell that means either, but it's profound. It's deep, man. That's so deep. That might be a bit much, but if I just shade this. There. Maybe tone it down. Yeah, that's better. Oof. Who else is here? He is. For these two, it's probably going to be solely green shading because of the leaves. Maybe with like a rim, a red. That's how shading. Well, actually, it would be orange. That's how shading works. But he's also very dark, so whatever I put down is going to immediately be lost. Hey now, guys. Fuck! Come here. Yep, there we go. There's that. Whoops! I forgot. Who are you glaring at? Literally, who? Oh. Yeah, what are you going fucking for? That's your sister. Oh my goodness. Someone's just in a crabby mood today, I guess. Oh well, nothing you can do. Multiply 65. 5, 5, 5. It is so damn hard to get it exactly on the number you want it to be. Oh, I'm absolutely a genius. I should really get into the symbolism of this moment. Symbolism. Okay, well, maybe not that dark. Jeez. Oh my goodness. What are you mewing at? You want back out? Is that it? Hmm? Are you upset that my have the curtains closed because if they're open I can't see? Cats. They're so whiny. You are. You're so whiny. You. She is a little baby. Not everyone's gonna get the symbolism of this moment, but I know. I know. I guess not everyone's looking for symbolism in the literal fucking shading of a comic, but here I am, putting it in anyway. Oh goodness, what? The thing is, with the shading, she's white, so you can't see it. Great heavens! I've forgotten! So this is why it actually takes me 5 years to get any of the shading done, because I do shit like this. And I forget there are like 5 other panels, which is why comics are not illustrations, yet I keep treating them as such. know if this is actually helping with the shading of my comic, but I'm going to start doing this, like, rim lighting. Not this rim lighting, because that's not the right word, but, like, this. Like, I ring the shading with a different color. Like, it looks good here, because that's, like, how shading works. Now, for this one, since it's a dramatic pose, I can just do, this. That looks good. Maybe a little bit more, and that might be too much. Now we get to the line art. The coloring of the line art. One of my favorite moments. I mean, typically anyway. Jeez. Alright, hold on, guys. Huh. I know what you want, baby doll, but you gotta go to the door. Come here. Pardon this minor intervention. I gotta go yell at the cat. Okay, come here. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. What? So, you don't, I'm not gonna make a habit of carrying you. Just so you don't get beat up. No. If you want out, you gotta go to the door. I'm not leaving the window open. Right? Too many bugs. There she goes, straight to the window. Right, explicitly said no. Kids. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. That's why. Man, we've hit the 3-hour mark. a very bad man. I can stop avoiding you. Well, that actually looks really cool. Hold up. Oh, that looks good. Okay. That's too much. But that's good though, so if we focus now on the eyes. That's a bit much. There. That's better. Just making sure everything is coherent. Oh, that was the wrong window. There we go. The joy of creation. This might be a bit much on the lighting department here. But I think this is pretty good. This is dramatic as hell. This is pretty good. The shading is good. This is good. Oops! I just noticed that. Damn it. Alright, well, we're going to, with a very delicate hand, there we go. Phew! That would have been an eyesore. I do realize that in this shot, Shorttail is a lot taller than he should be. But we can make the argument that Ivy Whisper is hunching. So we'll just, yeah. I kind of want this panel to have some sort of gradient on it. And then, in the next shot, the tension is broken, so it's gone. I mean, nothing's stopping me. I could do it that way. No. Okay, that looks kind of cool, though. I just had an idea. Okay, where's that? Here it is. Yeah, Shorttail's a lot taller than he should be naturally in this shot, but we could just say it's symbolism. We can just say it's symbolic. Okay, no. No. Overlay. Straighten. Nope, wrong effect. Dodge. Apply highlight hue, saturation, brightness. So if we just put on normal. My sons know what you did in the dark. So light 'em up. Yeah. Oh. that might be a bit much. Oops. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Oh my dog. Yep. Oh, stretch, prick. Ugh. Stretch and sip. Stay hydrated, kids. Where's my coffee? Here it is. Minibang not responding. God damn it. Well, now it is responding. Poggers. Okay, I'll give you guys a little sneak peek to what the next page is. It is a bit of a spoiler because it's very funny to me. But I need to put this background here before I forget. It's going to be a lot of tedious work back and forth, so might as well stream it. Copy. Find the right background. Paste. The line art is unnecessary. Okay, let's see. He is here, so actually it would need to be there. I can add to that one. We could move it there. And then this looks messy now, but that's because I haven't done the line art yet, so I've got to work around the thingies. It is one of the many beauties of working digitally. We have tools like this at our disposal. And it is wonderful. Anyone who complains about it is obviously jealous. Now, I will need to fill in, once the line runner's done, I will need to fill in, sounded like Holly Brown. I will need to fill in the backgrounds more, but before I do that, I need to do the ref sheets for Hawkstar's Kittens, which will be Thursday's stream. Or at the very least, we hope so. Because this is not proportionally correct. So I think it's so funny. They're having this very tense argument. And it's going to come to a boiling point eventually. But this argument, this blowout, isn't ripe yet. So we're going to keep pushing it off until it's ripe. Because it's not quite ripe yet. We're just starting with the tensions brewing, and then surprise attack! Interrupted by kittens. This is gonna be so hard to draw because they tackle each other, but that is for a later stream. Later me to worry about. Ugh. So I'm gonna end stream here. 3 hours. Wasn't even a short stream in comparison. It was just longer. Slower. Definitely a lot slower. We had a lot of fun though. We argued over Star Wars versus Star Trek, over soundtracks, the best Barbie movie, and the continuity error in The Wrath of Khan that still bugs me to this day. Why does that bug me so much? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, whether you watch live or after the fact. Either way, I love you. Next Thursday, I hope, I don't know, because the past few Thursdays have been very shitty, and I don't know why. Anyway, next Thursday, we're going to be streaming the ref sheets for the kittens, which is going to be a long and tedious journey. In the meantime, look out for a video this Wednesday. I think I'm going to be uploading videos at noon Standard Pacific Time every other Wednesday. Now, I know I just released a video this week, but this next video is very short, so I thought, you know what? If it's a short video, I might as well just do every week, immediately after. But if it's like a longer video, or if I'm working on other things, I'll just say it's every other Wednesday just to give myself more time. So I'm not crunching with the editing and scripting and whatnot, because we don't want a rushed product. Nobody wants that. Is that tree off center? No, that's just the background looking weird. Okay. Anyway. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you. We will meet again in the stars. Stay tuned. Space out. Yo, why is it flickering? What the hell? Oi! As soon as I yelled at it. Oi! Why is it flickering on this end? Excuse you? Hello? Is it just my viewer window that's flickering, or is it doing that for you guys too? Because that is very rude. Oh well.